Straight ahead on Falcon Weekly. With the LAX shooting and fake bomb threat at Birmingham Shuttlesworth, people are fearing their safety while flying could be compromised. See how airports are responding.
And new developments in the ongoing Obamacare fallout. Find out how many Alabama residents are now having to find new health insurance coverage.
Plus, cooler weather is here. See what safety tips students need to keep in mind as they try to stay warm. Falcon Weekly starts now. Hello and welcome to Falcon Weekly. I'm Amelia Bennett.
And I'm Jordan Wales. Thanks so much for joining us.
This weekend we had a time change and also a weather change. Even though there was plenty of sunshine, it was a little chilly outside.
Falcon Weekly's Margetta Thomas joins us for a quick weather update. Margetta?
Thanks, guys. Well, this past weekend was a little cooler with temperatures getting down to the 40s and no higher than the mid-60s on Sunday. Temperatures were about the same today with a lot of sun, but still pretty cool at 65 degrees. We're in for another chilly night as we head into Tuesday morning with a low of 45 degrees overnight. Tomorrow's high is 68 degrees, but we'll see colder temperatures and rain chances return later in the week. We'll talk more about that coming up in weather. Back to you.
With cooler weather here, many Montevallo students are looking for ways to stay warm. But there are some things that students need to keep in mind to stay safe. Falcon Weekly's Brett Bell joins us live to tell us more about ways that students can warm up safely.
Thanks, Jordan. With cold weather fast approaching there are several important things that students need to be aware of. Housing has several items that are prohibited in dorms. Sally Dollar, the Assistant Director of Housing, gave us a few tips on how to prepare for the cold.
It's important to keep in mind the things that aren't allowed in the residence halls. We don't allow electric blankets or space heaters, anything with an open flame element. So keep that in mind as you're preparing for the cold weather.
For more information on preparing for the cold, students can go to the Housing and Residence Life office, or they can refer to the student handbook. The student handbook can be picked up in the housing office and can also be found on the Montevallo website. Back to you, Jordan.
Thanks, Brett. Campus housing officials also tell us that students need to double check their windows to make sure they are completely shut to keep cold air out.
The Birmingham Shuttlesworth International Airport is now back open after a bomb threat forced the airport to be evacuated Sunday afternoon.
Coming just 2 days after a deadly shooting at Los Angeles' LAX airport, the Birmingham bomb threat is raising questions about airport safety. Reporter Shelby Lynn explains why experts say travelers shouldn't take their safety for granted.
Operations at Alabama's Birmingham Shuttlesworth International Airport are back to normal. But Sunday afternoon, authorities evacuated the airport over a bomb threat. Police say someone found a note containing the threat in a bathroom, prompting the evacuation. It caused the cancellation or delay of a dozen flights. Birmingham Police Sergeant Johnny Williams says a search of the airport turned up nothing.
Big inconvenience to everyone involved, those passengers, those visitors, our officers, the airport employees.
It may have been a big inconvenience in Birmingham, but the incident comes just 2 days after a gunman opened fire at LAX, killing a TSA agent and wounding 3 other people. Chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee, Congressman Mike McCall, acknowledges travelers are vulnerable in certain areas of the airport, like areas outside security checkpoints.
It's very difficult to stop these types of attacks. Anybody can show up, as we saw in the Navy Yard, with a shotgun, in this case with a semi-automatic, and it's like a shopping mall outside the perimeter. It's almost like an open shopping mall, so it's very difficult to protect.
Meanwhile, new details are emerging about the alleged gunman. Authorities went to do a welfare check at the request of Paul Ciancia's family and missed him by just 45 minutes. Shelby Lynn, CNN, Atlanta.
Investigators in Birmingham say they don't have a suspect in the case, and there are no plans to add additional security at the airport. Officers in Los Angeles say the LAX shooting suspect Paul Sinacia is listed in critical condition at an area hospital. A man who was caught on tape last month catching his wife on fire at a Georgia gas station is now facing criminal charges. We do have to warn you that this video is graphic. This surveillance video was shot last month at a gas station in Clarksville, Georgia. Here you can see 37-year-old Austin Dawkins standing by his wife when police say he flicked his cigarette lighter near his truck's gas tank. With all the fuel vapor, the flames just erupted. The wife, 30-year-old Jessica Dawkins, suffered from second and third-degree burns to her arms, legs, back, and head. Austin Dawkins is facing a misdemeanor reckless conduct charge.
2 people are now in custody after sending a Connecticut university into lockdown. Students and faculty at Central Connecticut State University were placed on lockdown Monday morning after a suspicious man believed to be carrying a samurai sword, a gun, and wearing camouflage clothes was spotted on campus. The university was quick to send out tweets and posts to their website that students should seek shelter until police and tactical response teams arrived. No one was hurt during the incident. President Obama is encouraging millions of Americans to apply for government health care over the phone, while the Obamacare website is being overhauled. But reports out today show that calling in many still lead to headaches because government phone operators must use the website to push through transactions. And you can't try to enroll on your own between midnight and 4 a.m. because the site will be shut down during those hours every night for contractors to try and get the site working smoothly. Meanwhile, new numbers out today show that 90,000 Alabamians are losing their health care coverage since the Affordable Care Act went into effect. Their current plans did not meet the standards set by Obamacare. Those people have been told they will have to find new insurance. Alabama's largest insurance provider, Blue Cross and Blue Shield, has notified 87,000 of its customers that they will be re-enrolled in a new plan that complies with the law. Turning now to campus news, the fall semester is coming to close, which means it's time to start planning for spring 2014.
Registration started today for grad students and will continue opening for other students throughout the rest of this week and next week. Students are reminded to make an appointment with their advisor in order to get a better idea of what classes they will need for the upcoming semester. Registration for seniors will start on November 6th, juniors on November 8th, sophomores on November 12th, and freshmen on November 14th.
This Tuesday, the Montevallo Campus Ministries Association and the Housing and Residence Life Office invite the campus out to debate the existence of God. The Is God Real debate will take place November 5th at 7 p.m. in the Anna Irvin Dining Hall. It will be an open discussion with guest speakers, UM philosophy professor Dr. Michael Patton and Notre Dame philosophy graduate Dr. Jason Baldwin. Refreshments will follow the debate. Coming up next, texting your significant other can be both good and bad for your relationship. See what type of text could spell trouble for couples.
And Twitter may finally turn a profit. Find out how the social media giant is looking to team up with television to cash in on your TV-related tweets. Those stories and more when Falcon Weekly returns. A new study shows that what we text to our significant other can affect our relationship.
So what type of texts have the greatest effect? According to a new study in the Journal of Couple and Relationship Therapy, researchers found that sending affectionate texts can actually enhance a couple's relationship. However, discussing heavier topics like relationship problems via text has a negative effect on the couple. How many texts you send also has an impact. Men who sent and received multiple texts were less satisfied with the relationship, yet women mostly said the opposite. So how do Montevallo students feel about texting their significant others? We sent our Falcon Weekly reporter Amanda Metcalf to find out what students think.
When I was in a relationship and texting didn't help any of our problems, like it would be cute if I woke up and had a good morning text message telling me how much he loved me and how much he missed me and all this other stuff, but if he would text me about problems or things like that, then it would just end up in a really big argument.
Texting can affect relationships because sometimes when you text something, you don't know how it can come across to the other person, like if it could come off like you're being mean or sarcastic or something, or whether you mean it in a nice way. I think that's how texting can affect relationships.
Positive things and like getting little text messages over the course of your day, that can definitely help a relationship, and if you're having a bad day, it can cheer you up. But if you're texting problems, then it can lead to more miscommunication.
Coming up, Falcon Weekly's Margetta Thomas is back with your Montevallo forecast. See when you may need an umbrella later this week.
And Black Friday may be weeks away, but you could score great deals now. We'll tell you which stores are already getting into the holiday spirit. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Kids probably still have Halloween candy left.
But Christmas shopping deals are already up for grabs. Walmart is kicking off its Black Friday deals early. The retail giant says sales typically reserved for Black Friday and Cyber Monday are already being featured in an online sales event. Walmart isn't alone when it comes to getting a jump on Black Friday sales. Amazon has also launched its holiday sales online.
In other consumer news, the once struggling cell phone giant BlackBerry announced it is scrapping plans to sell the company. BlackBerry says it's getting an investment of $1 billion from majority shareholder Fairfax Financial. The Canadian smartphone company also said its CEO is stepping down. BlackBerry did not reveal any strategic plans as a part of today's announcement, but the company did write an open letter to customers asking them to stay loyal to their brand. Many of us have tweeted about television shows that we're watching. Whether it's your reaction to the end of Breaking Bad or your anger at a ref's bad call during a college football game, Twitter is the way to get your opinion out there. Now, cable companies are starting to catch on. Reporter Maggie Lake shows us how both Twitter and television industries are hoping to team up.
Hey, perfect timing. Just about to get started.
From the tense final season of AMC's Breaking Bad to the heart-pounding suspense of Showtime's Homeland.
I can't collect intelligence from behind a desk.
Find a way.
People glued to the programming on this screen are now turning to this screen to tweet about the action live. It could help put Twitter on the path to profitability, a key issue for investors.
Twitter has sort of stumbled upon this position as the place people go to have conversations about the things that they're watching on TV. That, in theory at least, presents a really big opportunity for Twitter.
During an interview with All Things D, Twitter CEO Dick Costolo acknowledged the phenomenon.
Over the last few years, we've recognized that Twitter is the second screen for TV, and TV is more fun with Twitter.
For big events like the Academy Awards, live tweeting can be off the charts. Almost 9 million tweets were sent during the Oscars this year. And during the last Super Bowl, more than 230,000 tweets were sent per minute. A new study says 55% of Americans watching TV now do so with a second screen up and running. Dick Costolo says this can be a win-win for Twitter and for TV.
In a world in which the broadcasters, I think, have traditionally come to think of technology companies as competitors, we view ourselves as complementary to what those folks are doing.
Indeed, a recent issue of Forbes talks about how Twitter will save TV and how TV will save Twitter. But to do so, both mediums must get creative.
Twitter can't just plaster lots of banner ads on its screen like Facebook and other sites do. So they've got to find other ways to make money. And they can do that by putting promoted tweets into the stream of content people see.
If Twitter can find a way to make money from even a fraction of these tweets, it might easily reach the goal that it set in its IPO roadshow, a 40% profit margin, higher even than Google's. Twitter is far from that goal now, but every live tweet counts. As the second screen gains in popularity, Twitter is hoping to turn 140 characters into cold, hard cash. Maggie Lake, CNN, New York.
India is preparing to launch a mission to Mars. India's orbiter will launch Tuesday to make the 10-month trip to the Red Planet. While there, it will explore the planet's surface features, minerals, and atmosphere. But making the trip to Mars is no easy task. Only NASA, the former Soviet Union, and Europeans have been successful in operating probes from Mars. Probes can get lost along the way, crash on the planet's surface, or lose contact before they can send data back to Earth. This past Sunday, thousands gathered around the globe to watch a unique hybrid eclipse. Hybrid eclipses are the rarest type of eclipse and only account for 1 out of 20 of all solar eclipses. What makes a hybrid eclipse different is that it will begin as an annular eclipse where the ring of the sun is visible around the edges of the moon, and then will transition into a total eclipse, completely blocking out the sun. The last time this occurred was in 1854, and it will not occur again until 2172. Now it's time for a check of our Montevallo forecast.
Falcon Weekly's Margetta Thomas joins us with a look at this week's weather. What do you have for us, Margetta?
Well, November is definitely here, and you can feel it in the air. It's time to put away the flip-flops, get out your snow boots and your coats. You got a coat you like, Amelia?
Oh, yeah. I got my puppy jacket.
All right, you got some puppy dog boots to go with it?
I don't.
You don't?
I don't have any like fuzzy boots or anything.
Well, you got to get on that. Get on eBay. But let's take a look at the rest of the week and see how the weather's going to look. It looks like tomorrow, for the rest of the week, it looks like it's going to be mostly sunny until we get to Thursday. It's going to be a lot colder, and it's going to have a lot of rain, so you need to break out your umbrella and your coat. It's going to get down to about 38 degrees, but we're going to have a nice weekend. It's going to be mostly sunny, and in the mid-60s, it'll get down to the 40s, so still a little chilly, but not as chilly as Thursday. So lots of sun and really nice weekend. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Margetta. Robots go head-to-head while dancing, fighting, and playing soccer in Beijing.
Over 400 students from 33 universities put their engineering skills to the test at a robot competition held in Beijing this past weekend. One robot drew attention with a dancing performance to the song Gangnam Style. Several varieties of robots, all designed by students, were showcased at the final round of the competition.
Coming up next on Falcon Weekly,
Neil Embry joins us to talk about this week's sports. What have you got for us, Neil?
There's a lot of excitement around campus. It's a big day for Montevallo basketball. The men's team takes on #1 Kentucky tonight on national television. We'll tell you what you need to know about the game, as well as recap Auburn's win over Arkansas and preview Alabama's showdown with LSU this weekend. Sports is next. Welcome back to Falcon Weekly. I'm Neil Embry with a look at this week's sports. The Montevallo men's basketball team is on national TV tonight, facing the Kentucky Wildcats, the #1 team in the nation, in an exhibition game. This is the 5th television appearance for Montevallo in the last 5 seasons. Head coach Danny Young says the team is excited to play one of the most storied programs in the country. The game is set for a 6 p.m. tip-off on Fox Sports South, Channel 94 on campus cable. Meanwhile, the Montevallo women's team also has an exhibition game against the Sanford Bulldogs of the Southern Conference. Tip-off is also set for 6 p.m. in that game. Moving to soccer, the Peach Belt Conference tournament starts this week, and both of Montevallo's teams made the cut. The men's team, the defending tournament champions, will travel to play Lander University. The women's team will also be on the road, taking on Clayton State. Both opening round matches will start at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, November 5th. For more Montevallo sports news, remember to check out Falcon Fever this Wednesday. Taking a look at college football now, the Auburn Tigers look to continue their winning ways against Arkansas on Saturday. Arkansas was looking to rebound from an embarrassing loss to Alabama and get their first SEC win under new coach Brett Bielema. But Auburn had other plans. The Tigers ran all over Arkansas. Running back Trey Mason had a big day, rushing for 168 yards and a career-high 4 touchdowns. Nick Marshall was back for Auburn and completed 7 of 8 passes, including this touchdown to Sammy Coates. The Tigers would go on to win 35-17, moving up to number 9 in the BCS standings. Auburn's next game is Saturday at Tennessee, set for an 11 a.m. kickoff. The #1 Alabama Crimson Tide had the week off, taking time to prepare for Saturday's showdown with number 13 LSU. This Saturday's meeting will be the 8th consecutive time the Tide and Tigers have met as ranked opponents. Alabama has won 2 straight in the series, going back to the 2011 National Championship game when the Tide blanked LSU 21-0. Alabama won last year's regular season matchup with the go-ahead touchdown pass from A.J. McCarron to T.J. Yeldon, with less than a minute left in the game. Saturday's game is set for a 7 p.m. kickoff on CBS. The 2013 Major League Baseball season came to a close last week as the Boston Red Sox won the World Series for the 3rd time in 10 seasons. Boston cheered as the Red Sox celebrated their 7th World Series title, their first one at home since 1918. A series marked by close games and crazy endings ended with Boston dominating Game 6, winning 6-1 over the Cardinals. Remembering the resilience of the city in the aftermath of the Boston Marathon bombings, Johnny Gomes says the city didn't jump on the Red Sox back, the Red Sox jumped on theirs. The Red Sox were known for growing some pretty epic beards this season, but now 2 of those beards are coming off for charity. Shane Victorino and David Ortiz shunned No Shave November at Gillette headquarters on Monday. Ortiz and Victorino, along with Boston cop Steve Horgan, famous for his reaction to an Ortiz Grand Slam, and a random fan chosen through social media, received free shaves from Gillette. In return, Gillette donated $100,000 to the One Fund, a charity that benefits victims of the Boston bombings. And that's all the time we have for sports this week.
Thanks, Neil. It's pandemonium in China as 14 giant panda cubs celebrate their 100-day birthday.
Following Chinese tradition, the 100th day birthday is celebrated to wish the baby a long and happy life. The research center in Chengdu, China finds homes for pandas all over the world, including the National Zoo in Washington and the Atlanta Zoo. These baby pandas grow much faster than people, and some have already grown up to 20 times bigger than their birth weight. Soon, these pandas will also be able to find permanent homes.
That's all we have time we have for this week's show. Thanks so much for joining us.
For more news, be sure to check out the Falcon News Network blog. The web address is on your screen. We'll see you again next week.